This is called the greeting to the sun. I learned this from the Andean masters. The sun is one of the most powerful energies that we have. So there's a greeting that they do every single morning to greet that energy. It's very helpful if you can go outside. It's so beautiful if you can do this outside. And the video that I actually made was in my spot in Costa Rica where I stand in front of the mountains every morning to do this practice. What I love about this practice is it helps get me very centered for the day. It's a great way to start the day with a nice intention and with really asking the energy of the sun to hold me throughout the day. So we want to face to the east. And again, you don't have to do this outside. It's a beautiful experience when you do, but this is what I love. You can do this practice anywhere if you can just find the direction. It's very respectful to do this while facing the east. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to stand up nice and straight, and you're going to take your right hand, and it's curved a little bit like this, and you're going to bring it to your forehead. And doing a little bit of stretching here because you want to bring your arm out a little bit without causing any pain. And then you're going to take your other hand and you're going to place it, and your hand is kind of at an angle. You're going to place it on your heart, and you're just going to hold it there for a minute. And this is just to help us bring the three centers of the third eye, the heart, and the belly together. Those are your three primary energetic centers of the body. And the reason that we open our arm a little bit, it does take a little bit of doing, especially if you don't stretch, but we open our arms because when we are open, wherever we are, especially if we're outside, we're catching the energy. So think about a bird. When a bird spreads its wings, it's literally catching the energy of the wind so it can fly. So what you're going to do is gently just bring the hand that's on your heart, just move it very slowly down to your belly. And then the hand that was on your head is going to come to your heart. And you're just going to stand quietly. You can do this for however long or short that you feel you need to do. And then we're going to do a second round. So we're just going to come back up, bringing the hand to the head and to the heart, connecting them, connecting all three of those centers. And then we're going to slide slowly back down. And then we have one last round. We're going to come back up to the head and the heart. And then we're slowly going to come back down. And then I want you to take the hand that's on your heart, and I want you to gently bring it on top of the other hand that's on your belly. And again, as you're doing each of these centers, to be mindful, conscious, and aware of what you're feeling as you touch those centers. This is a way to bring them into alignment and balance. And then you're going to take your left leg and you're going to step out to the left, opening up your legs a little bit. And from your belly, you're going to slowly bring both of your hands, and you want your fingertips to touch, and you're going to bring it to your heart. When your fingertips are touching and your arms are out a little bit, your hands actually make the symbol of a mountain. And you're bringing that to your heart. And when you're ready, you're just slowly going to bring both of your hands down and open to receive the energy and the rays of the sun. And you can stand in this position however long that you need to do that. And when you're ready, you can come and sit back down. And that is a simple, very quick little practice called the greeting to the sun. And again, you can do it however long that you want to. I like to do it at the very start of my day. It's a beautiful way to start the day. And I set my intention. And by setting that intention, I'm really saying to the universe, in a sense, what is it that I want for today? Whether that be help or whatever it is I'm trying to maybe manifest for that day. And then I go in and I do this practice. And it's a beautiful way to really set the tone for the day, to get yourself centered. And then it really balances out those energy centers as we're doing this practice. So now it's recorded. It's something that if you want to integrate into your other practices, I find it to be super helpful. And again, as we move into talking a little bit about conscious living, it gets us in the conscious mode right away. I'm going to challenge you, even if it's cold, raining, go outside and do this practice. And I can guarantee that you're going to feel some magical things start to happen, because the key to conscious living is stepping out your front door. That's the key. You can live consciously inside, but the real key to begin that journey is to step out your front door. What I have found in my journey is to step out my front door and into nature. And nature can be your backyard. I'm going to go off of Jim. If you've got a tree in your backyard, you can go and connect with that tree and you will be in nature in seconds. You can go to a body of water. You can go to a forest, wherever it is. But part of beginning to live consciously is to understand that we are not alone. We have so many streams of energy and helpers that are surrounding us. And where are you going to find them? The key place where they all live, the centralized place, is in nature. And to realize that we are also part of nature. We are not separate from nature. What sometimes we didn't get the training on, or the FYI on, is that we are part of nature. We're part of that web and we're not separate from it. And so when we step into nature and we allow those spaces, I'm not saying that you got to go out there and do 45 minutes of some deep meditation. Maybe you just begin by puttering around and kicking around the leaves, or you walk through and you take a moment to touch a leaf on a bush and just see what happens when you touch that leaf. Or you actually go and you hold on to a big old tree that you notice along the way, commonly known sometimes as grandmother trees. And you put your arms around her, or you just put your hands on her, and you just allow yourself to take some breaths and just be with her. It's an automatic connection. There's nothing that you need to do besides connecting your vibration with the vibration that's all around you. This is what's so magical. And if you do this over time, you begin to understand a different kind of language. You begin to start to notice things, animals that maybe come into your awareness. Maybe you notice as you lay on the grass how those blades of grass are holding you, or how when you watch trees sway. This is such an interesting phenomenon. When one tree is moving, if you watch, there's probably 20 others that are swaying in the exact same direction, because nature is conscious. Very, very smart, very intelligent form of consciousness. And it picks up on all the vibrations. So if one tree starts to move, the others that are surrounding it, because they live in harmony, will also move in that cycle of harmony that's coming through. The breeze, which is another energy that comes in, that's also moving energy. So when we're out in nature, if we really get good at this and we observe, we can see patterns of energy that are actually moving in and around us all the time. And they love it when we interact with them. Many of you know that there are studies out there. I mean, good Lord, they can put special devices on plants now, and plants make symphonies of music. I mean, it's just hard to believe that nature has this incredible grace. It has this story to tell. And the beautiful part is it's never asking anything in return from us. It is just there for us to experience. So I invite you to take a step out the front door. That's the first step. I'm just going to share very briefly. Also, part of my learning to become more conscious was to set that intention for the day. When I got up and I became the captain of my ship. I was the person in the driver's seat, and I was setting the attention and the vision for what I wanted for my day. Over time, as I started to do this, what I found is that the universe was answering me back. And it was giving me a green light, a big fat yes. And it was supporting me in those intentions when I took the time to invite it in as one of my helpers, as what I like to call one of my spiritual evolvers. And it was so beautiful because it opened up this whole new pathway of my life. And then I started to practice at night. I found that there was so much negativity everywhere around me. It was never hard to find negative stuff. And actually, I'm quite good at it. It kind of likes to cling all over me. And I had to get out of that because as I was healing and refining, I found that it was more difficult for my energetic system to handle a lot of negatives. I'm an empath and a sensitive, so I have to be careful with people, places, and things. But what I noticed at night is I would always give gratitude for the day. Even if I had the worst day, I would still come home and find something good in my day. And that helped me to shift from this place of negativity to a place of what I like to call possibility. The most spectacular thing that I found about going out in nature, I would often lay on the ground among trees. And when there's a grouping of trees, what I noticed as I was laying on the ground and looking up toward the sky is I would see all of these little spaces in between the leaves where I could see the sky and other things. And what was really beautiful is one day the light bulb went on and the message came that I was entering the realm of what I call the space in between. And the space in between are those quiet spaces. And what I like to think of, those are all the little spaces of possibility. They're like little calling cards that are available to you. And whichever one you're wanting to reach out and grab, it's just there waiting. And the beautiful part about the spaces in between, those calling cards never go away. They're always there, just waiting, saying, do you want to go down this road or do you not want to go down this road? It's up to you. So that was the beautiful part and my love and my experiences of building some consciousness with nature. Then COVID hit, and I got, along with my husband, this crazy idea as we had been talking about it and dialoguing, but it really wasn't in our wheelhouse at the time. But it did because of COVID. And we had talked about possibly moving abroad. Paul is from Canada, and I find this hilarious. He hates the cold weather, but he's lived in Canada most of his life. So, long story short, I'm going to try and keep this brief. I had been involved with somebody for a year, a realtor, and we had just been exchanging back and forth. And all of a sudden, one day, these two properties popped up, and voila, there was owner financing, which I needed. Because in Costa Rica, as an expat, we can't get loans. We have to pay for everything up front in cash. And I just looked at my husband and I said, what are we waiting for? What's really holding us here? And we decided that we were going to make the move to Costa Rica. Had never been there and literally had two Zoom calls. And now I don't recommend this for most people, but we ended up buying a property off of a Zoom call. And 48 hours later, voila, I owned my property that was now going to become a retreat center. And let's just put it this way, within 3 months, I was packed up. There was a container on the way to Costa Rica. And by the time I got to Costa Rica, of course, when I got there, everything had gone south. It was not what I had imagined. There were many challenges ahead of me. But I can say that when I walked those first steps on the property and I found myself, my property is located smack dab in the middle of the rainforest. And Sherry can attest to this. Everywhere you look, I don't know, there's hundreds of thousands of trees. And when I looked out and I saw the magnificent flowers of the rainforest and I started to hear the sounds, even though there were great challenges ahead of me, I felt an inner peace. The same peace that I feel. I make many pilgrimages to Peru. I felt that same peace in the mountains, that same harmony, that quiet, that space that Teri needs to do her work and to feel at her energetic best. And what was so beautiful is when I came to Costa Rica, I do not have a TV here. I do have my computer, and I admit I do binge watch Netflix and Hulu every once in a while, but that's really my only connection to the world. Again, this lifestyle is not for all people, but I will tell you this. In the first year, I felt my stress level go down by 75% from when I left the world of work and some of the chaos and things that were just going on all around me, because here we experience a very slow pace of life. We have a saying called pura vida, which they use it for everything, but it's called the pure life. And people don't move very fast. So if you don't have patience, like I don't, it will become your first and primary lesson that you will have a challenge with, and you will have to go through layers and layers of working yourself through patience, because the name of the game here is hurry up and wait. So I had a lot of times where I sat on my stairs and I cried thinking, what did I do to myself? But here again, I was in nature and I began to really commune with the cycles of energy that changed. And then Iya Kurumi appeared one day, and I would talk to her all the time, saying, help me to support you, because I know you called me here for a reason. And I know we're working together and I care for you, but I need you to help me get through this. And it's going to sound a little crazy, but every day I started a little practice of walking around and touching the different leaves on the plants. And I would dig a hole and I would put my hand in the soil every day so that I could remember my connection with the earth. And I just can't begin to tell you how it just did wonders for my soul. And it did wonders for me of being able to give everything else. I like to say, push the pause button. So it gave me a beautiful way to push that pause button and to really start to notice everything that was circling around me also was connected to me. And so it helped me to kind of go inward to that journey. Now, moving to a foreign country is not going to be on everybody's radar. But again, I'm going to go back to one of the fastest and quickest ways that you can start to live consciously is to get out your front door. Go for a walk, go for a drive, get yourself connected to nature, even if you're just noticing how beautiful it is to be in nature, and to allow yourself to just sit in that nature. You can ponder, you can dream, and allowing the space that you're in to hold whatever it is. And you may just be thinking about nothing and just sitting there quietly. And that's beautiful. So it's helpful to invite nature in when we're trying to raise consciousness. When we feel distracted by people, places, and things, nature is my go-to. It's like my sanctuary. It's where I can kind of go to just quiet everything down and to get myself recentered. And I love that. And anytime, literally, that I lay on the earth, I feel this incredible energy come up from the earth and it's just holding me. So these are the beautiful experiences that I've had in my journey with nature, no matter where I am. If I'm back visiting Wisconsin or in the States, or I'm here in Costa Rica, or I'm in a mountain in Peru, I get those same feelings when I'm being very conscious about what am I doing? How am I connecting? And here's the beautiful thing. We don't always have to connect to people. It can be an outside source, even though it's nice to come back and connect to people. But a beautiful way, going back to the beginning, to help us to think about our day and to become more conscious, to set that intention, is to look back at your day before you go to bed and just take a few minutes and find something that was really beautiful about your day, something that you're grateful for. And instead of focusing on all the things that didn't happen that day, the people maybe you didn't meet, or the things that you were trying to go for and it just didn't quite connect, think about something that you're happy about in your day, even if it's just the fact that some days I had to narrow it down to, okay, I got out of bed and both feet are on the ground today. I'm happy, I'm alive, I'm breathing. And sometimes when we're working through hard things, we have to get to that space just to start to build on to that. And so those are some very, very helpful ways. Journaling is a wonderful way. Take your journal, go out in nature, and write down all the things that you're thinking about that are on your mind. Pour it out. Again, I talked about Sachamama, I talked about Pachamama. And this might seem a little bit weird, but sometimes it's so beautiful just to put your mouth to the earth. And what I always say to people is give her whatever you have. She's amazing. She can hold it. She can take that from you. And the beautiful thing about Pachamama, about Mother Earth, about the soil, about all of the energies that live in that world is that their job is to take all of that stuff that ails us, that's hurting us, that makes us sad, and it mulches it and just kind of eats it up and takes it away. And the beauty of it, the grass still comes around every spring. The birds still go in the trees. So nature's a force. So don't worry that you have something too heavy to give to the earth, or maybe you whisper it to grandmother tree and you tell her what's going on. And if you get in a practice of doing this, I guarantee you will experience what I call pure magic, because you'll start to get some signs. You'll start to get some answers that will come to you in a way that's recognizable. Here's a little side note for you. When I'm dealing with nature, when I'm dealing with the spirits and the beings, what I tell them point blank is I say, look, I'm a busy lady. So whatever it is, the message, the symbol, make it as big as a billboard, because I do not want to miss it. And so that's kind of something that I say to them every time. And it's really beautiful. One very quick thing that I want to share about communication with nature and the beings when you know that you're consciously there. Something that I have the most gratitude for in my life is freedom. And I don't mean freedom as far as money, spending, going, whatever it is. No, I'm talking about when spirit calls, I honestly can answer the phone and say, okay, it's go time. I don't question, I don't doubt, I don't think anymore. I just go because that's what Spirit's asking me to do. This is what conscious living, getting away from the distractions and immersing ourselves in connection. This is what happens for us, because remember when I first started this, we are all a part of it. We're not separate from it. And so nature will figure out how to communicate with you. And very quickly, I want to share one really special thing. My mom died a couple years ago, and I had the privilege of being right in front of her when she took her last breath. And it was so beautiful because right before she took that last breath, I held her hands and I said, Mom, I want you to come back so that I know you're around. I want you to come as a dragonfly. And then, of course, I'm like, no, 86 that. I want you to come as one of my guides. I want you to come as a hawk. And what was so amazing, the next morning after she had passed, I was on my way to my sister's house. And that morning I had been talking to my mom and I had just been saying, if it's possible, can you just let me know that you made it and that you're okay? And as I was driving, this hawk almost got in a car accident. The wingspan was just incredible, came over my windshield for just a couple seconds, and just like that, it was gone. It just disappeared into thin air. I didn't even see it fly away. At that moment, because of my connection and my consciousness with energies, with nature, I knew that my mom was okay. That was my signal. That was my answer. And so I'm sharing this to you. It is probably the story that is the closest to my heart, because it was such a message of confirmation that nature speaks, energy speaks, but you've got to get yourself outside. You've got to get yourself connected. You got to actually plug it in the wall so that nature gets the message that you're ready to receive. I could go on and on about conscious living, my journeys in Costa Rica, but these are the ways that I started. And the icing on the cake has been that word that I mentioned, freedom. I don't have to have fear or worries or doubts about anything that Spirit sends my direction because I trust those messages. I trust myself. And I just know that what I'm getting is right and true. And I feel so grateful because I know there's many people that spend their whole lifetime trying to get to that. And I feel really blessed because I'm living it. So I want to give y'all a big squeeze and just say thank you for this precious time together. Thank you for your insights and your sharing. And I hope that some of the things that I've been privileged to share with you today, I hope that you really do take some of them to heart, that they work for you, and that you can incorporate them into your everyday and your process of becoming more conscious and evolving yourself.